Did Ruby really die? During the massacre at Blissful Retreat, we all saw that arrow flying straight toward Ruby. But after that, the main story doesn't really give us a clear confirmation. So, is she actually gone? Well, if you run around Heaven's Pier long enough, you'll eventually find your answer. And this video will show you not only how to get Ruby's special gift, but also reveal her true relationship with you, the protagonist. Ruby is an adorable, clever little girl, but she's also ridiculously mischievous. Her mother passed away early, and her father, Uncle Joe, completely failed to keep her under control. She always sneaked out to play with you and used you as her human shield whenever her father scolded her. When the two of you walked together, people at Heaven's Pier called you the troublemaker duo. Honestly, if Blissful Retreat hadn't been attacked, nobody would have discovered that you two had stashed tons of wine, planning to sell it for money to go on your big Jianghu adventure. So it's really no surprise that Ruby grew up to be such a stubborn little hero who loves charging into danger. She probably got it from you. Ever since you were young, you dreamed of wandering the Jianghu. And the older you got, the stronger that desire became. After the massacre, if you return to the village at Heaven's Pier, you'll trigger a quest called Her Legacy. There, you'll find a treasure map that marks the location of the great hero Rubine's treasure. Of course, at this point, you still have no idea who the owner is, so you try to return it. The owner of the map claims that after wandering the Jianghu, she acquired a divine artifact, something so powerful that it would bring disaster if it fell into the wrong hands. So whoever finds this treasure map must overcome a series of trials to prove they are worthy. After following the map and clearing a bunch of tough challenges, the final destination turns out to be Uncle Jiang's house. There, you'll discover Ruby's letter and the birthday gift she had prepared for you in advance, a red thread. Missing Ruby, heartbroken, you drift into a dazed state, and suddenly, you see Ruby waiting for you inside Uncle Jiang's house. She comforts you and tells you to wear the red thread, so the two of you will always be connected. Her English name, Ruby, suggests a gemstone, but in Chinese sources, she is actually 周红线周航线, which literally means red thread. So as long as you wear it, the two of you will continue wandering together as twin wanderers of the Jianghu. By this point, you can probably answer the question yourself. If you want to unlock Ruby's full biography, you can do a bit more. At Heaven's Pier, find Yueniang near the water wheel. She'll tell you just how strong and brave Ruby truly was. Then go to the coffin workshop nearby and find Yimo, who regrets never learning martial arts because he couldn't protect Ruby. If they don't appear, just change the in-game time. Once you talk to both NPCs, you'll unlock 100% of Ruby's biography, including 3 stories about her, and they contain a secret about you. I'll summarize those stories next. The tree-climbing troublemaker. Ruby was always the bold one in Heaven's Pier. One evening, while the children played with a kite, its string suddenly snapped, and Ruby was the one who broke it. Without hesitation, she bit her lip, puffed her chest, and shouted, "Wait here. I'll get it back." The kite drifted far across the hillside, landing high in a tall tree. Ruby climbed after it, quick and fearless. But by the time she reached the top and grabbed the kite, the sun had already set. Down below, the other kids were gone, taken home for dinner. Her father was still working at the winery. And Ruby? She was alone, high above the ground, clutching the kite, and suddenly realizing she didn't know how to get down. Night settled in. The wind turned cold. Lanterns lit up house by house across Heaven's Pier. Ruby sat there shivering, telling herself over and over, "I'm going to be a hero one day. I'm not scared. I'm not scared." But the hours felt endless. She counted every lantern she could see, 268, until her eyelids grew heavy. Just when she thought she might actually spend the night in that tree, a single light appeared in the distance. A lantern, moving toward her, closer and closer. And then she heard it. "Ruby! Ruby!" The voice she trusted most in the world. The lantern stopped beneath the tree, revealing the most gentle, worried face she knew. Ruby gasped, her eyes filling with tears. She let go of the kite, and it drifted down, caught safely by the person below. "It's you!" she cried. And in that moment, little Ruby, who feared neither darkness nor solitude, finally let herself be a child again. Ruby's copying misadventures. Ruby wasn't a genius, but her father truly believed she was. One night, he heard her mumbling the names of ancient sages in her sleep. Convinced she was blessed by the heavens, Uncle Joe proudly spent their hard-earned coins bribing the teacher to give her special guidance. But when Ruby arrived at school, nothing made sense. Storybooks disappeared. Her playtime was cut in half, and every day she had to show up early just to sit awkwardly in front of the teacher, who clearly had no idea what to do with her. Ruby tried holding it in, until she finally burst into tears. Her father stared, confused. "But didn't you love these classics? You were reciting them in your sleep." And in that moment, Ruby remembered the truth. She had only been copying texts for her runaway cousin, and muttered the words in her sleep from exhaustion. Unable to explain, she stayed silent. Uncle Joe eventually assumed she'd been possessed by a book-loving ghost, hired a Taoist to sprinkle holy water for 3 days, and called it solved. And Ruby? She kept her secret, a small burden carried with the quiet guilt of a child who never meant to disappoint. The Jiang and the little girl. Ruby used to think Jiang was just a word from storybooks, full of wandering heroes, secret martial arts, and legendary enchantresses who somehow caused every problem in the world. To her, none of it felt real. Just tales merchants shared when they passed through her little hometown of Qing. She imagined the Jiang as a giant, magical lake, far away, unreachable, nothing like their quiet lakes filled with ducks and fishermen. So Ruby never dreamed of entering that world. She was just a small girl, in a small place, worried more about sneaking past her father than becoming a hero. But everything changed 3 years ago. On the night Madame Han left home, Ruby finally climbed Moonvale Mountain on her own, a challenge she had failed countless times. And at the summit, she found someone waiting, someone mysterious, calm, and kind. In that moment, Ruby glimpsed the real Jiang, not a faraway legend, but a world close enough to touch. And for the first time, she believed she could be part of it too. Her father beat her thoroughly when she returned, but it didn't matter, because Ruby had already made up her mind. Next time, she would go again, 100 times, 1,000 times. Whatever it took, she would step into the Jiang, not alone, but as a twin hero. After all, she had someone she wanted to bring with her, her beloved elder cousin, her partner in every dream. All right, in these stories, there's also a mention of Ruby's cousin. She used to help that person write their punishment lines, and the one she dreamed of wandering the Jiang with. And well, isn't that basically you, our protagonist? But this relationship is probably based on the deeper ties between Uncle Joe, Aunt Han, and Yueniang. For example, Aunt Han and Uncle Joe are siblings. And since the protagonist's true identity is connected to the jade fragment, a secret only a handful of people know, most villagers naturally don't understand who you really are. You'll never find another cousin as amazing as Ruby, but if you're willing to pay the price, she'll always support you. Whenever you're about to face tough challenges, you can literally purchase Ruby's help. She grants you a resurrection buff that brings you back to life once after you fall. So yes, you effectively get 2 lives, just like she promised. Ruby will always stay by your side, because you two are the twin wanderers of the Jiang. And that's where we'll end today's video about Ruby. If you're interested in more stories, lore, and characters from where winds meet, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video, where we'll talk about Yi Dao.